Welcome back to Live with Lori. This week we will be discussing this week's topic is advanced directives. Hi Instagram, hi Facebook. So
and by the way, this
yes.
is my assistant Gabby, whose voice you hear in the background.
Yes.
I know you never see her. I kind of don't like that. But come over here and show your face.
Oh well.
No, come on.
Not today. Today I look crazy. But hi guys. But we're definitely gonna start doing some content together. I want to do some like mock consultations and things to kind of show you what the process would be like if you were a client of ours, and to learn a little bit more about elder law practice and estate planning and all of that. So you'll see me, but I look crazy today. But the focus is Lori. No, you look amazing. But yeah, and everyone wants to hear from you because you are the expert. So this week's topic is about advanced directives, which that would fall under estate planning umbrella.
Absolutely.
I guess, right? Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so ready? Let's get started. And please feel free to leave comments below, questions below, or DM us whenever you have any further questions, or if there's a topic you want to hear from us. Okay, so for the first question, what is an advanced directive? And also, all the topics we speak about, guys, we're talking specifically about the state of New York. Every state is different, so I just wanted to give that disclaimer.
Okay, so advanced directives, and every state does have them. They don't all call them exactly the same thing. In New York, we call them a power of attorney, a healthcare proxy, and a living will. What they are is us expressing who we want to handle things for us. With respect to a power of attorney, it could be while we're well or when we're not well. With respect to a healthcare proxy, it would be if we can't do our own, make our own decisions about healthcare, who do we want to make them for us? Now, some states call that a healthcare power of attorney. We in New York call it a healthcare proxy, and my assistant is walking around the room.
I think it's loud.
Gestures, so
sorry, guys.
I don't know if you can talk about.
Yeah, I'm sorry. In the background, we have the AC on. I don't know if that affects the sound. Do you want to keep going, or do you want to start?
No,
because of the sound. Okay. What are the advanced directives? Why are advanced directives important? Sorry. I hope you guys can hear us. Let us know if you can't.
Yeah, so the main importance of having advanced directives is to avoid a guardianship. So let me give you an example. If I have an accident or a stroke or something that renders me either temporarily or permanently unable to do my own bidding, make my own decisions, speak and act for myself, if I have not appointed someone ahead of time, hence the advance, to step in and act as me, if something happens to me, then my family is going to have to go into court and ask the court to appoint a guardian for me. And that is a more complicated, more expensive, longer process than you might imagine. And if there are things that have to be done right away, whether it's with respect to my health or with respect to my assets, we don't really have all that much time to dilly-dally around getting a guardianship in place. So that kind of stops, if we don't have advanced directives in place, there may be a period of time that my assets are sitting around in my name and I'm not able to get, let's say, Medicaid benefits to pay for, let's say, my rehab or my nursing home. So that's why they're important.
Okay.
That's one reason they're important. That's the main reason they're important.
Got it. When I stepped out, did you talk about the different types?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, guys. I had to step out for the sound. Because if you can't hear us, all of this won't matter. You didn't talk about the process to appointing
No.
Healthcare. Okay, would you like to talk about that? The process to appointing a healthcare proxy or power of attorney, etc.
Sure. So we usually do these directives, these advanced directives, in conjunction with doing your basic estate planning, whether that's doing a will, whether that's doing a trust. We can do them standalone. They don't have to be done with a will or a trust. But the process would be, we would talk to the client, and the client would decide, who do I trust to handle my assets, like my house, my bank accounts, my any kind of assets, my stocks, if something happens to me. Now, one of my kids, let's say, might be better at handling business type matters than the other. So that might be the person that I would appoint to be my agent under the power of attorney, the person who could responsibly step in and take care of business for me.
Got it.
They would sign things for me. They would get me on Medicaid if that's what has to happen to cover my medical bills. You know, if I'm in a nursing home or if I need long-term care. Then they're going to want to consider, okay, how about my health care? If, you know, who do I trust to make a good decision if a decision has to be made with respect to my health? Now, how might that arise? That might arise if a procedure has to be done for me and I don't have the presence of mind to consent to it. They are going to have to look at my healthcare proxy, see who my agent is, like in my case it would be my daughter, and call her and get an informed consent to do the procedure or to not. Mm-hmm. So I would want to decide, like, I have one child, but if you have other kids, you'd want to decide which of my children has the health, the understanding of health issues, the stomach for making hard decisions. Which of my children would be best suited for that? Or if it's not my children, it might be which friend or which sibling, or, it might not be the same person for each document is kind of what I'm saying. But that would be the process we would go through in deciding who is going to be appointed in those roles. And once we prepare those documents, we are going to execute them according to the law. If we're doing a power of attorney, we are going to have 2 witnesses, one of which can be the notary. And if we're doing a healthcare proxy, we're also going to have 2 witnesses. Mm-hmm. So the person is executing these documents with witnesses who can attest to the fact that this person is of sound mind and understands what she or he is signing, basically.
Got it. Okay, how do you ensure your advanced directives are followed in New York? Is that like something where the client would work with you and trust you to kind of handle that, or?
So what we would typically suggest that the client do is, let's first take a power of attorney. We're going to want, typically, not always, but often we're going to want to have the bank take a look at the power of attorney and record on my bank accounts that so-and-so is my agent. So that person can go into the bank and transact business if that's what needs to happen. If I am perfectly well and I'm doing this in advance of needing any long-term care or any issues, I may or may not want my daughter to go into the bank with my power of attorney and have them put her on my accounts as power of attorney. Mm-hmm. I may want to put that in a box on the top of my closet where I keep my important papers and tell her where it is, and if something happens to me, you go up there, get that power of attorney, and take care of business. It's very individual. I mean, some parents want their kids to have access to their finances, no problem. They can help them out whenever it's necessary. Some parents do not want their kids to have access to their finances.
Or be aware of it.
Right,
all the
but they may just want to make sure that they're in place in case something does happen to them. I mean, someday something will happen to us all. We don't know what it's going to be.
Yeah.
But so those are the possibilities with the power of attorney. Healthcare proxy, we want to give our doctor's office a copy of that. And the other thing that we do typically with healthcare proxies is we load them up to DocuBank. That's a database, and I think we talked about this in one of our other lives.
With the card.
Right.
You could show it again.
You give your proxy.
This?
Yeah.
Okay.
You put it up to the database. How do I tell if I'm holding
Yeah,
it in the right
you could
place?
put it closer if you want.
Yeah, so what happens is they give us a little card to put in our wallet, and if something happens to us, like let's say, for instance, a traffic accident, they've got to figure out who I am. They're going to go through my wallet, see my driver's license, and see my emergency information, and they're going to call DocuBank, and DocuBank is going to say, call Lauren Somek at such and such a number, and they will immediately be able to know who my agent is and who they have to call.
Perfect.
To get consent to a procedure, to notify that I am, in the emergency room and unconscious
all your
or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
To call your emergency contact.
Yeah, so that's what we would do with our healthcare proxy. And you also want your agent or agents to have a copy of that proxy as well. So if they have to go waltzing into the hospital to make a decision for me, waltz in waving that document.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Another question was, how often should advance directives be reviewed and updated in the state of New York, or from your opinion?
So they don't have to be updated in New York to be valid, because if a power of attorney was done under a previous statute, that power of attorney will be grandfathered in. You do want to review them periodically, because you might change your mind about who you want the agent to be or what you want their authorities to be.
Got it.
So when there are changes in the family, you might want to review your documents and say, okay, do we need to make any changes to these documents? If you have a falling out with one of your kids, you might want to say, okay,
remove them.
I don't want this kid making my healthcare decisions. I'm going to have this kid do it.
Yeah,
so
because they'll take you right off the machine.
Right off the machine. Pull those plugs. Bye, Mom.
Pull the plug.
So, yeah, otherwise, I mean, these documents are valid until you revoke them, unless you revoke them. You can revoke them at any time.
Got it.
You're never stuck with the agent that you don't want as your agent anymore.
Perfect. Can you explain what a DNR, a do not resuscitate order, is?
So a do not resuscitate, typically if you are brought into the hospital, you're having a procedure, or you're brought into the ER, they might ask you, do you want to sign a DNR? Do not resuscitate means if I go into cardiac arrest, do I want you to bring me back? Do I want you to do CPR and bring me back? Now, why do they ask this? I mean, if I'm going in right now to the hospital for something, do I want to sign a do not resuscitate? No, I don't. Do resuscitate me. Bring me back. Do CPR. Stick a tube down my throat. Whatever you have to do.
Try, yeah.
But if I am terminally ill and at the end and suffering,
you just want to go.
Yeah, I mean, I may be very old.
Yes.
I may be, terminally ill, and I go into the hospital because, whatever reason. If I am so lucky as to have a cardiac arrest, don't bring me back and put me on machines and prolong this torture that I'm going through. I'm being funny about it.
Yeah.
But that's,
you gotta have humor with
that's the type of situation where a person might sign, God, don't bring me back, please.
Yes.
So that's what that is, and that's usually done in the moment. That's usually done at the hospital.
Okay.
That's not something that we sit in my office and prepare for in advance, because we don't know what the future holds. We're not going to sit here in my office and say, don't resuscitate me necessarily, because I'm not sick.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Is that considered an advance directive? I guess, is that?
You know what?
Because some people might make that decision.
Technically, I don't know if it is or not, but that's not something that I consider part of the advance directive package that I think people should sign.
Got it. We didn't talk about an MOLST, did we? No.
We did not. It's a most.
Yes, most medical orders.
That is
for life-sustaining treatment.
We don't prepare those in my office. That's usually prepared by a medical professional, and it involves some very detailed directions as to how you want
medical
your care to be.
I think. Yeah.
Well, all kinds of stuff. It's a long form.
Got it.
You know, we do have the MOLST in New York. That's not something that I would sit in my office and prepare with a client either.
Got it. Okay, in terms of, I guess, your capacity, are there any specific considerations or limitations regarding advance directives for individuals with dementia or Alzheimer's disease in New York? Alzheimer's.
So what you want to do is have done these advance directives before you have Alzheimer's or severe Alzheimer's or dementia. You need to have capacity to do advance directives. You need to have contractual capacity, like capacity to sign a contract, which is a little higher than the capacity you need to do a will, which is called testamentary capacity. So, if you have gotten to the point where you no longer understand, have the ability to understand what you're signing, who your people are, what they would potentially be handling for you, then you have gone beyond the point where you are able to do these advance directives. And that's when we run into trouble, because if we have to get you on Medicaid because you need the nursing home or because you need round-the-clock care in the home, if you have assets in your name, we can't get you the care you need paid for by Medicaid. We would have to go into court and do the dreaded guardianship proceeding. And, that all comes out of your money, by the way. It's expensive, and it all comes out of your money.
Yeah.
So you're getting a much better bang for the buck if you're doing these before you have Alzheimer's or dementia or are incapacitated in any other way, mentally, cognitively.
Got it. So we had some questions about what legal requirements must be met, to become a power of attorney or the healthcare proxy, living will, things like that.
Well, the requirements are basically in the execution of the document. The agent, the person that you appoint to take care of your finances, let's say, that person actually has to sign the document in front of a notary. Now, that person does not have to be present with you when you sign it. Mm-hmm. When you sign it, you also have to have your signature notarized, and there have to be two witnesses who also sign the document. Yeah. The notary can be one of the witnesses because they're notarizing your signature, not their own.
Yeah.
So
in the state of New York, because I know.
Yeah.
It differs from state to state.
Yeah, we're right. I can tell you what we do in New York.
Yes.
Every state has its own statutes.
Because I know that's a confusion a lot. Me being a former notary signing agent, I think New Jersey, the notary can't be a witness as well. So people always ask about that.
Yeah, I really don't know. But you have to execute it in accordance with the state that you're in.
Yes. So in terms of legal requirements, that's it. It's not a list of things that you have to check off to be.
No, but the form is, the short form, the statutory short form is long, and we always, in our practice, we add a rider to the short form, making a bunch of modifications, because we add powers that the regular short form doesn't automatically list, because we are anticipating what will the agent need to do if something happens to mom, if we have to take money out of her name, if we have to get her on Medicaid, in other words. Mm-hmm. Now, the regular garden variety power of attorney does not allow the agent to remove assets from the principal's name. Mm-hmm. Now, in elder law, especially in the Medicaid planning realm, that's exactly what we might have to do. And it doesn't allow self-dealing. Now, what's self-dealing? That's the agent taking money out of mom's name and putting it in her own name. Now, again, with getting someone onto Medicaid, especially in an emergency, that might be exactly what we need to do, is self-dealing. So the principal, mom, has to specifically authorize that in the document. So we put a bunch of powers that would have things that would have to be done if we're getting mom divested of her assets and onto the Medicaid program. So we're authorizing the agent to do a lot more things than would ordinarily be contemplated in the basic statutory power of attorney.
Got it. Okay, and then the last question is, what legal resources or support services are available for individuals seeking assistance with this advanced directives in New York? So basically, working with you. Yeah, working with
lawyers.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to execute these documents with a lawyer. I mean, you do have to have witnesses and you do have to have a notary. Mm-hmm. I can say, I think it would be fair to say that 100% of people who call me, who tell me, well, we have a power of attorney, we did it ourselves. 100% of the people did not put the gifting authority and the self-gifting authority
did not
in
do
those
it properly.
Documents. Yeah. And therefore, they cannot transfer the house or anything else out of mom's name to get her qualified for Medicaid.
Yeah, it's almost obsolete. I feel like I hear that all the time. You're coming to fix all these things and
100% of the time. If you go online and download a power of attorney form, you do not have those authorities. And there is a section that says if you want to do any modifications, initial here and put extra stuff in the modifications section. 100% of the time, that is not done. Even if they initial, they don't know what to go in and put under the modifications.
Yes.
Like my agent has the right to make unlimited gifts to anyone whatsoever, including herself. I will never see that in a power of attorney that someone went online and pulled and executed in front of a notary.
Yeah.
Never, ever, ever.
Because the average person wouldn't know what to do. That's why it's always good to seek counsel.
Right. And when you're doing these things, you're not thinking, I want someone to take all the assets out of my name. You're just not contemplating that.
Yeah.
Because you're not necessarily even contemplating that if I get sick and need a nursing home or a rehab, that I'm going to have to get Medicaid to pay for it. You're probably thinking, well, that's Medicare. I have Medicare.
Yes.
So this is something that doesn't even come into somebody's field of vision.
Mm-hmm.
Often,
they wouldn't know.
You know? So.
Perfect.
So if you want to do the comprehensive power of attorney to cover your bases for whatever happens later, you probably do want to go to an attorney and do it. You don't have to, but you probably want to.
Yeah, to do it right. If you're going to do it, just do it right. Make sure you do it right. And that you're protected,
Yeah, I mean, it's like penny wise, pound foolish.
Yes.
That's a document you want to get right. You can do the healthcare proxy by yourself. You have to sign it in front of 2 witnesses. You could do it in your doctor's office. You could do it in the hospital. As long as you have the presence of mind to sign a document, you can do a healthcare proxy. I mean, I include it with my power of attorney because why not?
Yes.
But that's not something that I'd say, don't pull it offline and do it. You can pull it offline and do it if you want. What was that, a bug?
I think a mosquito.
Already?
I guess. Well, this
Awesome.
weather's been crazy.
I know, they probably
In New
never
York.
died for the winter.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Lori. This was really informative. People ask about advanced directives all the time. So
Yeah, they're kind of a misunderstood thing.
yes.
So, yeah, anything we can do to clear that up, glad to do.
Yes, and always feel free to reach out to us. We do offer free consultations. So, follow up with us. Reach out. Go check us out on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. We're going to put up some would you rathers and this or that advanced directives. I know you guys love that. So, tune into I know Lori loves it. It's her
I love
favorite.
them.
She loves all the hypothetical games and questions. But we have fun with that, so check us out there. We'll see you guys next week. Feel free to comment, share. Share with your friends. Reach out to us. Give us a call if you have any questions. And let us know what topics you want to hear from. And we will see you guys next week with Live with Lori. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.